picked because you went with your heart, which I admire.
Yeah, my heart sucks. Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what just happened?
The Oscars 2026. Well, 5, but
Yeah, 2026 for the movies of 2025.
yes, so our favorite day of the year, pretty much, for both of us.
Yeah, no, I mean, growing up loving watching the Oscars, granted, I think for me it was mainly just for the animated film, so I could see whatever like animated characters were receiving their
I
awards.
miss that. Bring that back next year.
Yeah, yeah, they did kind of do something like that this time around, not for a nominee, but you had little Grogu in there.
Well, in the opening ceremony, or not opening part of Conan's speech, where he was in the
Yeah,
K-pop
yeah,
Demon
true.
Hunters.
True, true, true.
So,
And yeah, we'll get into all of that. So, guys, sorry it's a little day late. We had a little bit of weather craziness over here.
Chicago.
Yeah, good old Windy City, really emphasis on the windy and
The
yeah.
city.
Oh, in a word that rhymes with city. But yeah, no, just we're finally here to talk about the Oscars. You got a little bit of reaction thanks to Anne-Marie doing a nice little post earlier today. And as you can tell, lots of different feelings going on here. But yeah, we're not gonna do like a breakdown individually like we traditionally do of like, oh, here's the nomination. Here's what we thought would win. You got that rundown basically with our predictions. So we're just going to give you like the highlights of what we thought worked, what didn't work, what we were surprised by, what we weren't surprised by, and of course the main award of the night, Best Picture, our reaction to that.
Yes, it was a good Oscars, let's just say that. Me and you did fairly well with our picks. I will have a thing up right now showing who won. Da da da, it was me. I picked the best ones.
You bastard.
Yeah, but you know what? I picked to win. You picked because you went with your heart, which I admire.
Yeah, my heart sucks.
Well, what surprised you the most?
So I would say what surprised me the most, I think in retrospect, it probably shouldn't have surprised me, but best editing, I think, not going to F1.
Or sinners either.
Well, I knew if it wasn't gonna go to Sinners, or I'm sorry, if it wasn't gonna go to F1, it was gonna go to One Battle After Another. Because when I was thinking about it, I would probably put that 2 as best editing as number 2 because you think about how long that movie is and the pacing of it, and it's like, "You know what? Yeah, no, I actually really do admire the editing of that movie." So, the 100%, like, it's a deserved win, but I really thought the editing in F1 was such a standout in that capacity that I just really thought that, the people in the Academy thought the same.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, but again, if you watch one battle after another, that ending car chase scene is absolutely incredible and great editing on there too. And so, not super surprised, but I really did think after our predictions, after you tried to convince me to go with F1, which I guess I should have, but I kind of did think F1 was going to get it. So,
Yeah, yeah. Did you have any surprises yourself?
you know what? The only one that really did shock me was Sean Penn for Best Supporting Actor, which honestly, it shouldn't because he won a couple of other awards. But I was pretty convinced Stellan Skarsgård was going to get in. So when they said Sean's name, I understand the Academy loves him, but Stellan Skarsgård never received an Oscar, by the way. I thought he had it unlocked.
You know what's interesting? It's definitely a one-sided relationship with Sean Penn and the Academy.
He's like, "I ain't coming."
He does not give a damn about it. And, he's a great actor. Like, first and foremost, he's a great actor. Would I have put him as the one winning? No, but since he did win, I'm like, yeah, I can understand that. He gave a great performance, and, you can't really argue against that. It's interesting, though, the most interesting aspect of him winning is the fact that there was no I don't believe there was any marketing campaign for him, for that Oscar nomination for the role for his win. Because usually with you have an Oscar campaign. Like, "Hey, look at this. Consider this for your consideration," one battle after another, Sean Penn's role. There wasn't a lot with Sean Penn. Do you think that's gonna really change things moving forward in regards to what we see for, mass reach out for, Oscar marketing?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because, to be honest, yes, Sean Penn wasn't marketed as Oscar nominated, but the rest of the movie was. And I don't know if they didn't think he was going to get it. And they're like, hey, you know what? We think we have this unlocked for Best Picture, Best Director, original screenplay, cinematography. I wonder if that played in a factor into it because, again, I don't think it's one of his best roles, to be totally honest. So I'm surprised he won. So, I don't know, maybe it would change, but I also think one battle after another cleaned up super well last night.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It came out, I believe, with 6 Oscars at the end of the night, followed by Sinners, which had 4, I believe,
I think so, yeah.
and then Frankenstein had 3?
Frankenstein did well too
Yeah.
last night.
I mean, I expected it to do well in a lot of the production technical aspects of film, and, while that's no jab against its cinematography and, acting, it's just, if you were to weigh which one you would guarantee was gonna get the award, you kind of have a pretty solid idea of when you see that movie.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, as much as it saddens me that Sinners didn't get the big two like I predicted, I do think they came out super well with Michael B. Jordan, which congratulations to him. Amazing speech, as well as Ryan Coogler for original screenplay. And so, you know what? Sinners and cinematography too, first female to win it, right?
Yeah, yeah, and there's not too many females nominated either, so that alone is a great feat, but to win, hell yeah, girl.
That scene in the movie of everyone knows the
Mhm.
singing scene, absolutely, like, that deserved the win on its own, basically.
Yeah, and, speaking of, there were a lot of technical issues with this year's Oscars,
Mm.
but one of the technical wins, I would say, is the camera work when it came down to the "I Lied to You" performance. A lot of the camera movements, the choreography, getting a lot of the original actors involved, I mean, it really, really worked out well.
Can I say something?
No.
I liked that performance more than Golden, and I
Yeah.
I went with Golden, I love it still, I'm so glad it won original song, but I think I Lied to You was the better performance of the night.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Once we were talking about original song, I'm like, "I should have known better. I really should have known better."
You should've, yeah.
Yeah, like, the popularity of Golden just holds that strong, and, like, as much as I love I Lied to You better, and I don't even think that Golden is the best song in K-pop Demon Hunters,
Mm.
not even the 2nd best song, I think it's the 3rd best song in the movie.
What?
Yeah, I think This Is What It Sounds Like and Your Idol are the best 2 songs in the movie,
Ye
and then comes Golden for me. But, still, at the end of the day, sometimes the Oscars can be a popularity contest, and Golden is probably the most popular song of 2025. So, what can you say but, Ethan, you should have known better.
You should have known better, honestly. But again, shouldn't be shocked by this, but casting to me was shocking. I went to one battle after another, even though that's a great cast.
You know what? As we said in our predictions, I had Sinners winning that one.
Me too.
When I thought about it more, when they were kind of going through the nominations and what they were, I didn't realize this was Chase Infinity's first go around
Yeah, she's like
in a feature
new,
film.
new.
Yeah, so that taking a risk on that for a Paul Thomas Anderson movie and just, the great cast they were able to put together there. And you think about the different personalities involved and how well they were able to mesh together to bring a Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. I mean, that's pretty admirable. I didn't even think about that till, again, they were announcing the nominations at the show, but yeah, I'm like, this One Battle After Another, if it wins, I will not complain for casting.
Do you think it's a category that will stick around
Oh,
to come?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that casting directors are just that important, and I feel like the way that they went about it was very respectful and, very well done. So, yeah, I think it's definitely one that's here to stay.
I will say this is switching gears, but PTA's speech where he said, "Man, you guys made me work for this." Hilarious.
Okay, so complete completely on me. This is all on me, but and feel free to rage against me in the comments. I did not know that PTA did not have an Oscar before that night.
Really?
He's had movies that have won Oscars, but he himself has never won an Oscar. Man, with the guy that was did Phantom Thread and There Will Be Blood. I mean, wow.
Never got an Oscar.
Crazy. That is so crazy to me. So, I'm glad that he finally got his due with an Oscar. I'm not sure if I would kind of like how with you in The Revenant with Leo DiCaprio,
Mhm.
even though I think that he well deserved for The Revenant, but
Disagree, but
but I think that's kind of my take here with One Battle After Another. Is it Oscar worthy? Yes, and is this a movie that's great for to have him win for? Sure, but is it the one that I expected it to be his first Oscar? And would I think like Oscar-winning movie PTA, One Battle After Another, come to mind? No, I would think There Will Be Blood, but that was the same year as No Country for Old Men.
oh,
So
it was?
yeah, and I still would put, There Will Be Blood over it, but still, the Academy decides what the Academy
It
decides.
really does. The Academy does that a lot too. They're like, "We're not gonna give you the Oscar yet. You have to work towards and for it." Kinda like how Timothy Chalamet didn't win his Oscar last night
'Cause we know that they're just waiting for him to win it for next year.
for Dune Messiah.
Dune Part 3, baby! Which, by the way, so fun little, sidetrack here. As soon as I get, in the room here to record with Annmarie, she's already squealing because we get our first look at Dune Part 3 with, Tim, that little close-up with his mask and, still suit on with his Sith-ridden face.
Don't worry, I think I'm gonna do a trailer reaction to it tomorrow.
Oh, man, I'm gonna be so hyped for that. Both the
Yes.
trailer and your reaction.
Oh man, trust me. As a Timothy Chalamet fan, right? I love him. Marty Supreme, not his best performance. Michael B. Jordan absolutely deserved the Oscar last night. Timothy Chalamet's time will come. Same with anyone else. Ryan Coogler, he's going to win eventually, just not now.
Yeah.
And as disappointing that is, again, Sinners got so much. Like Ludwig, go figure. That guy's gonna go up again next year for the Odyssey and win original score.
Yeah, and I like how you had 2 college roommates basically winning in the same night, bet with Best Original Score for Ludwig and Best Original Screenplay for Ryan. So, that was awesome to see. That's a nice little wholesome moment. And I also really like how they kind of had a little bit of a break-even moment with One Battle After Another and Sinners where you had one winning for best original, one winning for best adapted, and I like that little equivalence there where one got one and one got the other, and I don't know, there was something nice about that. Even though One Battle After Another won the biggest awards of the night, I still kind of like that breakdown with the writing of okay, we at least someone got something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think, it's always fun when you really don't know who's gonna win because there was a moment last night where I'm like, oh wait, like I might have picked wrong. Like Sinners could win Best Picture. And then I went back and forth all night. And so the only one that was on lot was Jessie Buckley pretty much. But you know what? She deserved it. Like, let's be honest here. So
Yeah, great speech as well with it. Jesse Buckley just absolutely killed in that role. There's nothing else that needs to be said about it because, man, her performance speaks for itself in volumes.
yeah, powerhouse.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen Hamnet yet, see Hamnet and get your soul crushed.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like the saddest movie of last year.
Yeah, but bittersweet and it's wonderful. So definitely give it a watch. And, you know, how would you say, Emery, that Conan did this time around compared to last year in regards to hosting?
You know what? I wasn't too impressed with him this year. I think there was some hits and miss. The joke that really got me was the YouTube joke about the Oscars being on YouTube next year. Thought it was hilarious. I thought a lot of his jokes really didn't land, and I enjoyed his hosting from last year a lot more, I will say.
Yeah, I think even between him and the announcers, definitely
Oh,
could have been
yeah.
given a lot better material. Not again, not to say that everything didn't land, but there were quite a few standout moments, especially with that cold open and then just a lot of the jokes. Even the political ones I felt like were pretty tasteful.
Yeah, I will say that. I did like that they honored movies like Bridesmaid was like 20 years, Avengers was 14 years. I like that. I think I definitely do watch the Oscars for the speeches, and so I wish it was a little bit less bits and more of the speeches.
So I do have a little bone to pick with the bridesmaid situation.
Oh my god, that I'm so sorry to all those ladies, but I did not enjoy your bit at all.
Well, not only that, the one where they got to sound, I thought was better. Very
Yes.
ironic with how it worked, with the audio and technical difficulties there. In regards to the score, I honestly thought it was disrespectful. Just with, and it's not their fault. It's definitely the writers that set up that whole shebang. One of the things that I love about the Oscars is the balance between the comedy and the seriousness, and pristine solemnity of filmmaking and the appreciativeness. And I think for the most part, they're pretty good at balancing that out. And when it came down, when it comes down to like the your little preamble before the award, I think you can have that balance of comedy and then also explaining what the award's like. I mean, there was one for production design, I believe, last year, and Ben Stiller, I think, was announcing it. And, you had the little technical glitch with him trying to get up to the floor with
Mhm.
the rising platform. And, that was funny. I love that. And it involved what we were going to be discussing with the nominations. But when it came to this one, there was nothing to do with score. Nothing at all, and I thought that was so disrespectful to the nominees, and just it and m of course, that's not their intent, but you consider what's allowed for the other nominees and what's gone through for their explanations, and here and imagine this is your first time watching the Oscars. Like us when we're kids, we're watching the Oscars and we're like, "One, what's that? No, what's this category for? What's that category for?" And you get that little preamble with a little bit of comedy in there. Here, it just was like there's nothing to do with score, and it was just a really run-on joke that went on way too long, and it didn't help with the technical aspects as well that went wrong with it, and it just really made me cringe, and it made me really infuriated. I wasn't expecting to be infuriated by something that didn't have to do with the result, but, this just, like, pissed me off on behalf of all the nominees. So definitely work that out, Academy. Just please figure that out. Give all respect to the preamble and balance it out with the comedy. And just make sure that you give the respect to the nominees that deserve it.
I absolutely agree. Like, again, it was just it took too much. This is my problem with it. It took too much time away from the speeches, the thing that I think most people do care about a lot more. And so, nothing against the cast, they're wonderful ladies, totally against the writers who gave them that jokes.
Yeah, and if it had something to do with the score, I would completely get it, but it didn't. So, in fact, they did it better with the sound, preamble because they actually talked about the point of sound. And again,
Mhm.
ironic with how it went, technically speaking. But, with the score, it was just nothing, like zilch. So, and they even acknowledged that, like, during the bit, like, oh, yeah, we're not even talking about score.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough on that little Ethan rampage. Do you believe, going back to what you were saying with YouTube, do you believe that the Oscars will be better or worse moving from ABC broadcast television to YouTube, basically live stream?
Well, okay, so here's something that's going on that people are, I don't know if they're unaware, but for YouTube, especially for like live shows, you can turn off ads. Like the overall channel can turn off ads. Now, will the Oscars do that? I don't know. And so I'm kind of holding my judgment because I would hope that they would turn off ads, but we'll have to see. I don't know if I have a really firm opinion on it yet.
I think that they'll have insert ads. There's no way they're gonna get away with having random pop-up ads in the middle of an announcement.
Mhm.
So there's just absolutely no way. If you do that for the Oscars, you're cutting the value of your licensing here by half.
Mhm.
So definitely, they need to get that figured out right away if they don't already. As for, like, different other logistics of it, I think it's gonna be great to have no time limit really with it. I still think that there's definitely gonna be a limit of sorts, but not to the same extent that you're used to seeing with broadcast television where it needs to move as quickly. I still think they need to maintain a certain pace to make it, consumable to, everyday viewers, but I just don't think it's gonna be as restrictive.
So no Adrian Brody speeches then?
Oh, man.
That
Maybe
was a
half of an Adrian Brody speech.
that was a good joke, I will say that.
Yeah, that was very tasteful, just right to the point, and also I like the Devil Wears Prada bit.
Yes.
I think the Grogu bit went on for a little too long, just a smidgen, not by much, just a smidgen. Because I think once they got past the point of, "Get away from her, you bitch," or, "Get away from him, you bitch," that's where I'm like, "Okay, we can stop it there and move on," but, Grogu's gonna Grogu.
But he's so cute.
Exactly. So, but Anne-Marie, do you have anything else, to contribute to the Oscars and, the future of it at large, or any other final thoughts?
Nope, I'm ready to wrap it.
All right, guys. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, but please don't forget to let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. We want to know your thoughts. Did you hate the Oscars? Do you love them? Are you excited for them to come to YouTube? Do you think that some of the stuff dragged on too long? Do you think people got cut off too soon? Whatever you're thinking, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the classic YouTube vernacular. Above all else, do not forget to rewind. I've been Ethan,
I'm Marie.
and the Oscar for Best Podcast,
Goes to?
not us.
Oh, dang.